Okay, welcome to class. Glad y'all can make it. Go ahead and find a comfortable seat, however you would like. Your legs can be crossed, you can be on your knees, even laying down on your back, if that's comfortable for you. And just kind of notice how you sit naturally. Sometimes we tend to lean to one side more than another, or forward and back. So as you recognize that, as you notice, just try to sit evenly on both sides. Maybe lift a little taller through the crown of the head, just allowing the shoulders to relax down the back. And as we begin, try to recognize the space that you're in. So your eyes can be closed, or if you'd rather keep them open, maybe you just find a gentle gaze down at the floor. Just kind of notice the sounds that you hear. They could be sounds coming from outside the room. Maybe you hear birds chirping outside. Maybe sounds coming from inside the room. Maybe it's just the sound of my voice that you hear. Just trying to put a name, try to identify each thing that you notice. And just shifting awareness from the sounds that you hear, maybe to the air that you feel on your skin. Maybe you can feel the air on your arms, your feet, maybe your face. Or maybe you just notice the air as it comes in and out of the body. And again, shifting that awareness once more. Try to turn your awareness to your breath. Your breath that is always there, but we rarely tend to notice it. So just try to notice how you breathe naturally. No need to change it, but just watch. Maybe you breathe through the nose, maybe through the mouth. Maybe you naturally just breathe into the upper part of the chest, or maybe a little deeper. You might notice as you just pay attention to your breath, it might start to naturally change. It might start to slow down, it might start to get a little deeper, just by bringing awareness to it. So we're going to keep awareness on the breath. We're going to try to just make it a little bit deeper. So as you breathe in through the nose or the mouth, think about that breath going into the chest. Maybe you feel a slight rising or expanding of the chest as you breathe in. And a softening or falling of the chest as you breathe out. Just a few breaths here, trying to keep awareness on the chest area. And just moving that awareness down to the belly, a little bit deeper. And sometimes it helps to bring one hand over each area, like one hand over the heart, the other hand over the chest. So you can try that if you want, or you can just keep those hands resting on your legs or the floor. But as you feel the breath moving into the nose and into the chest, maybe you can start to feel it move into the belly as well. Feeling some movement underneath those hands as you breathe. Again, if you don't feel anything there, that's totally okay. But just try to keep awareness on the belly here for a few more breaths. As you inhale, just allow the belly to relax so it can expand and open. And on the exhale, just using the belly, using the diaphragm muscle to slowly press air all the way back out. Just take 2 more full breaths here. All right, and go ahead and release those hands. Just come back to your natural breath. And let's find a little bit of movement. So on the next inhale, try drawing those shoulders forward and up. And on the exhale, we'll bring them back and down. So a few circles with those shoulders. Inhaling as they come forward and up. Exhaling back and down. A few times like that. Just moving at your own pace. Just once more. Allowing the shoulders to relax down the spine whenever they get there. Again, lifting tall through the crown of the head. Our next breath in, let's reach those arms out to the sides, up towards the ceiling until you feel the hands connect, and then exhaling down to your heart center. Again, inhale as you reach out as far as you can, and inhale all the way up. Exhaling your hands to the heart. Once more like that as you inhale and reach. Maybe even look up at those hands. And then exhaling hands to the heart and all the way to the floor out in front of you. We're just going to walk those hands forward as far as you can. You know, we're just beginning. Those muscles aren't quite warm yet, so don't worry about holding very deep or going very far. But palms on the floor, just gently walking those fingertips forward as you drop back through those hips. Finding a pause. Maybe you just relax the head and the neck down towards the floor here. You can even move that chin side to side a few times, releasing some tension in the neck. And bringing the head back to center and slowly walking those hands back up. Go ahead and bring those hands all the way behind the body. This time fingertips pointing in. So fingertips pointing in towards the body here, and on the breath in, we're going to lift up through the heart, rolling those shoulders back and down, and maybe turn that gaze up at the ceiling. Just opening through the front of those shoulders. You can even bend those elbows, lean back a little further. One more breath here. And then exhaling, go ahead and come back to center. Okay, if those legs are crossed, try crossing the legs the other way. Other leg in front or on top. Or as an option, you can always have feet on the floor here. So bringing those hands just to the tops of those knees. Again, just finding a nice tall spine, and we're just going to move through the core, wake up the spine a little bit. So on our breath in, reaching your heart forward and up, just like we did before, rolling those shoulders back and down. And then on the breath out, you're going to round through the back, dropping the chin towards the chest. Inhaling as you reach forward and up, maybe turn that gaze up. Exhaling as you round through the back, draw the belly in, slightly tucking the hips. And we just go forward and back with the breath. You can always stay and hold anywhere along the way, or you can move with your breath, inhaling as you open through the front of the shoulders, exhaling as you open through the back. And let's just go 2 more times each direction. See if you can relax the grip with those hands a little bit. And then we'll slowly find our way back to that neutral spine. Okay, on that next breath in, let's again reach those arms all the way out and up. And this time, let's just lower that left arm down towards the floor. The right hand reaches up, turning your gaze up like you're trying to touch the ceiling above you. So extending through the entire arm. Inhale as you reach up, and exhale, maybe lean over to the side a little bit. And slowly switching those arms when you feel ready. Inhale as you reach. Maybe you look up at that hand. And then exhale over to the side. And slowly all the way back to center. So both hands connect with the floor. And then inhaling, both arms reach up. Exhaling as you turn to the right. Just find a gentle twist here, looking over that back shoulder. Inhaling back up through center. Exhaling to the left. Inhaling as you lift, and just one more time each side. Exhaling as you twist. Inhaling as you lift back up, and exhaling, twisting to the opposite side. And inhaling all the way up. On that exhale, connecting the hands, lowering down to your heart center, and once more, we're going to bring those hands forward, and just walking those hands out in front, finding a gentle forward fold here. Again, palms on the floor, hands about shoulder width apart. And when you can't reach those hands forward any further, then just feel free to soften the shoulders, the head, the neck. Taking a few breaths here. With each inhale, think about the shoulders broadening, getting a little bit wider. And then each exhale, just relaxing them down towards the floor. And then as you're ready, walking those hands back up. Okay, uncrossing those legs. Maybe we bring them out in front, shake them out a little bit. Awesome. We're going to come around onto all fours. So onto those hands and knees. And as you find your space here, we want to try to stack those joints. So the shoulders come right above the elbows, which are right above the wrists. A little bend in those elbows will help keep the elbow joint safe and strengthen those muscles around the elbow joint. And then knees are directly under the hips. Tops of the feet can just rest lightly on the floor. And then check out the belly, the core here. Sometimes it feels okay just to relax it here, but today we want to engage. So we want to draw the lower belly up and away from the mat. Reaching forward through the crown of the head and reaching back through the tailbone. So strong and engaged through the whole body. Okay, we're going to find a little balance. On the inhale, we're going to reach our right leg back behind us, the toes pointing down towards the floor. Check out that left hip. Try to keep it right above the left knee, keeping those hips in line with one another. And maybe we pause right here and inhale, try to reach the heel a little further away. And then exhaling as we lower it down. Next breath in, lifting that left leg up. Again, reaching back through the heel, the toes pointing down towards the floor. Continuing to reach the crown of the head forward. One more breath, reaching the heel away. And exhaling as we lower down. Okay, on this breath in, we're going to reach right leg back. Maybe we add the left arm, reaching the fingertips to the floor. Or you can reach forward. The thumb pointing up. Again, just reaching forward one direction and back the other direction. One more breath as you hold. And then exhale nice and slow, lowering down until you feel the fingertips connect with the mat. Next breath in, left leg can lift. Maybe we reach that right arm forward, fingers on the floor, or reaching straight ahead. One more breath as you reach in both directions. And then exhaling, slowly lower back down. All right, next breath in, we're going to reach right leg, left arm. As we inhale, we reach and extend. And on the exhale, we're going to bring elbow towards the knee. Inhaling, we're going to reach back up. And exhaling as we draw it all in. A few times. With your breath, just moving out and in. Staying strong through the lower belly. 2 more times with that breath. Inhaling as you reach. Exhaling as you draw it all in, and then slowly lower hand and knee to the floor. Just recentering on all fours. And then as you're ready, left leg can lift. Reaching it back, right arm reaches forward. Inhale to extend, and exhaling, knee to elbow. Inhaling as you reach. Exhaling, contracting through the belly. Inhale, extend. A few times at your own pace with your own breath. And one more time. Exhale, draw it all in. And inhale, releasing hand, knee, everything back to the floor. Go ahead and make a little more space in between those knees. We'll bring the big toes together. And then you can sit all the way back onto those heels. Just resting your forehead on your mat. Or you can always bring your hands together and rest your forehead on your hands. If you are healing your knees and if this isn't very comfortable on the knees or the hips, you can always just come up and have a seat on your mat. So that's an option as well. So wherever you are, just take a few breaths here. We oftentimes use child's pose just as a place to come to when we need to just take a minute. When we need to find our breath. When we want to just pause and check in. So just give yourself permission to come to your child's pose or any place on your mat at any point throughout your practice, if you need a moment. So we'll just take 3 more breaths here. Okay, on that next inhale, as you feel ready, bring the palms back to the floor, reaching the fingertips forward, hands about shoulder width apart. And we're going to move into our modified flow, just continue to warm up the body. So on the inhale, we're going to come forward and bringing those knees back about hip width apart, but our hips are in front of those knees. Inhaling here, and on the exhale, just bending the elbows, keeping them in along your sides as you lower all the way down to the chest and the belly. On the inhale, finding a little lift, baby cobra, lifting the shoulders and the heart. Exhaling back down. Inhaling up to those knees, and exhale, reaching the hips back. So just 3 times through that. Again, finding the pace of your own breath, and then matching your movement to that pace. So when you inhale, you shift forward to your plank. Exhaling, lowering all the way down. Inhaling as you lift the heart as high as is comfortable. Exhaling, relax. Inhaling back up to those knees and exhaling, hips back. 2 more times with that breath. Try to go 1 movement per breath. When you inhale and lift the heart, think about drawing the shoulders down and back. And when you inhale and lift all the way up, try to lift hips and chest at the same time. Exhaling, hips back. 1 last time through your flow. Inhaling to your plank. Exhaling all the way down. Inhaling as the heart lifts. Exhaling, relax. Inhaling, plank, and exhaling back to your child's pose. Again, just pausing here in that child's pose. Just for a few breaths. Maybe try coming back to that 3-part breath that we began class with. Feeling the breath come in through the nose, into the chest, into the belly. And then back out of the belly, out of the chest, out of the nose. Okay, 1 more full breath here. On your next inhale, extending those arms forward once again, palms on the floor. Try lifting those hips just enough to tuck your toes, and then reaching the hips back towards those heels once again. Keeping those arms extended as much as possible, grounding down into those palms. We're just going to slowly lift the hips and the knees off the floor, finding your downward dog. So your first downward dog here, feel free to walk out those heels. Maybe bend the right knee towards the mat, and then the left. Just allowing that head to relax, your gaze back at those feet. And then as you relax both heels towards the floor, maybe keeping a little bend in those knees so you can really extend through the spine, lifting the hips up high. And then we'll turn that gaze forward, taking little steps, making your way to the front of your mat. Once you get there, finding a deep bend in those knees, using the strength of your legs to slowly help yourself all the way up. Let's bring those arms with us on the inhale. And then exhaling your hands to your heart center. Just finding your mountain pose. Feel free to move around a little bit. Here, now that we're on those feet, you can come forward onto those toes, maybe lifting the toes off the mat. Just kind of help wake up through the ankles, the feet, the lower legs there. As you bring both feet back to the floor, try rolling onto the outer edges of those feet. And maybe opposite side, rolling onto the inside edges of those feet. Just a few times back and forth. One way might be more comfortable than the other. And then just slowly bringing both feet to the floor. So grounding down into those toes, into the center of the heel, but lifting up nice and tall through the lower belly, through the crown of the head. Maybe roll those shoulders back and down and just reaching the fingertips towards the floor. So strong through the whole body in your mountain pose. When you feel ready on the next breath in, let's reach those arms all the way out and up. And then exhale your hands to your heart center. On the inhale, we're gonna reach back up, and this time we're just gonna interlace those fingers, turning the palms facing up. I don't know if you can see my hands, but just reaching the palms up towards the ceiling. As you breathe in, we lift up nice and tall, and then on the breath out, just find a little side bend. Reaching those hands towards the corner where the wall and the ceiling meet. And inhale back up through center. Exhaling over to the opposite side. Inhaling all the way up. On the exhale, releasing those hands, bending the elbows, dropping them down and back, and then releasing the arms all the way to the floor, and you can roll out those shoulders or shake out those arms. Okay, making your way to the front of your mats. Go ahead and bring those hands back to your heart center, and we're going to step our left foot to the back. Turning your left foot out to the side slightly, and then this right knee is going to bend just until it gets above the ankle. So if you want to take it deeper, you just walk those front toes forward, or for less intensity, just step the back foot forward. So the space in between your feet, totally up to you. And then we're going to turn our shoulders, turning our gaze towards the front of our mats. And then inhale to reach both arms all the way up. On the exhale, opening out to the sides, warrior two. So take a peek back at that back arm. See if we can keep the arm in line with the shoulder as much as possible. That front arm is reaching forward, as well as this front knee and the front toes, all reach in the same direction. Sometimes this front knee tends to come in, so if you find that happening, just try to keep it pointing straight over those middle toes. All right, we're gonna move with our breath. So as you're ready, on the inhale, lifting everything up nice and tall, bringing those hands together at the top, and then exhaling as you bend into that front knee. Inhaling as you reach, feeling the fingertips connect, and then exhaling, front knee bends. A couple times with that breath. Inhaling as you lift, and exhaling, bend. And just one more time. Inhaling up nice and tall. Exhaling here in that warrior two. Finding your breath, just check in with how you are breathing. And see if you can maybe feel the mat underneath those feet. It's really easy to dump all of our weight into this front leg. So see if you can press down a little harder into that back foot, that back leg, nice and strong through both legs. Just one more breath here. Allowing the shoulders to relax. And we'll turn that front palm facing up. And inhale, reaching forward. Exhaling, reaching the right hand up. Reverse warrior. Maybe you turn that gaze up as well. And then slowly just cartwheel both arms all the way down to the floor. Releasing your left knee to the mat. Untucking those toes. So back into a kneeling lunge. As we pause here, let's keep our left hand on the floor. On the inhale, we're going to reach the right arm forward and then up towards the ceiling. So turning towards the right side, towards that front knee. Inhale as you reach up like you're trying to touch the ceiling. Maybe with the left hand that's on the floor, try to press the floor away from the body. One more breath here. And then exhale, reach all the way back behind you, and then down towards the floor. Both hands find the floor. Lifting that back knee off the mat, slowly stepping the front foot back, lifting those hips up high, downward dog. And then inhaling forward to your plank, lowering to both knees, untucking those toes, and exhaling all the way down to the chest and the belly. Inhaling as you lift the heart into your cobra or upward dog. Exhaling back down. Inhaling up to the knees or the toes, and exhale, lifting hips up high. Back to that downward dog. Let's turn that gaze forward in between our hands and just taking little steps, making your way to the front of your mat. And once you get there, deep bend in those knees as slowly as you can, making your way up to standing. Bring those arms with you at the top. Inhaling all the way up. Exhale, let's just sigh it out through the mouth. Taking another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just once more like that. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Awesome. All right, making our way back to the front of your mat. This time we will step our right foot to the back. Turning the foot out to the side slightly. Left knee's gonna bend as deep as you would like, but try not to go past that ankle. And then slowly turning your shoulders and your gaze towards the front of your mat. On the inhale, reaching both arms all the way up. And then exhale, opening arms out to the sides, warrior two. All right, this time we're gonna keep these arms extended. Again, bring awareness back to those feet for a moment, grounding down into both feet, into the front heel, into the outer edge of that back foot. And then when you're ready to move a little bit, on the inhale, just shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears, straightening the front knee, and exhale, relaxing the shoulders. Inhaling as you shrug them up. Exhaling, bending that front knee, allowing the shoulders to soften. Two more times. Inhaling as you lift. Exhaling as you bend. And once more. Exhaling, relax. Finding your warrior two here, grounding down into both feet, lifting tall through the low belly, lifting tall through the crown of the head. Maybe turn that gaze over those front fingertips. And then we'll turn that front palm up. Inhale as you reach forward, and exhaling, left arm reaches up, right hand reaches down, reverse warrior. And then slowly just cartwheel both arms all the way to the floor, lowering that right knee to the mat, untucking the toes. This time keeping your right hand on the floor. You can be on your palm, your fingertips, even your fist. Let that right hand just directly under the shoulder. Inhaling as you reach left arm forward, and exhaling as you twist, turning to the left side. If that's comfortable on your neck, maybe have your gaze looking straight up at that hand. And if not, you can just turn the gaze straight ahead. Think about extending, reaching through both arms, up through the left hand, down through the right hand. One more breath here. And then exhaling as you reach all the way back and down to the floor. Lifting our back knee off the floor, we'll step all the way back, downward dog. And then inhaling forward to your plank. You can stay on those toes or you can lower down to those knees. On the exhale, bending those elbows, lowering all the way down. And inhaling, lifting the heart. Shoulders drop down and back. Exhaling as you lower back down. Inhaling up to those knees. And exhaling, we're going to step back to that child's pose. You can be back in your child's pose, or you can be up on those knees. Again, just finding a comfortable spot for you to pause for a few breaths. Taking a moment to just check in. Notice how you are breathing. Noticing what you might feel in the body. Maybe finding a few areas that you can soften. Maybe you can soften and relax through the jaw, maybe the shoulders, maybe the belly. Okay, one more full breath here. And then on the inhale, maybe reaching those arms forward once again. And as you feel ready, slowly lifting the hips, tucking the toes, reaching the hips back, and then lifting the knees off the mat. Downward dog. Turning that gaze forward, you can take little steps towards the front of your mat. Back to that forward fold. We're going to pause right here for a few breaths in our forward fold, but maybe we'll walk those feet out a little bit wider. Now hip width apart or even wider here. And then feel free to let the arms just hover over the floor, or you can bring elbows, hands to opposite elbows. Always having a little bend in those knees anytime you're folding forward. And then just releasing the head and the neck. Maybe shake the head no and yes a few times. Or you can sway through those arms, through the upper body, just side to side. And slowly coming back to center, releasing those hands, deep bend in those knees, and just allowing the arms to relax and hang as you slowly roll all the way up. Shoulders and head coming very last. If you ever get lightheaded when you stand up, just keep a nice bend in those knees. Okay, let's do a little bit of balance. So go ahead and bring those hands to your heart center. And we're going to start on our left side, our left foot. So try lifting up those left toes, creating space in between each toe, and then grounding each toe down into the mat. Grounding down into the center of the heel, and try to lift the arch of your foot up away from the floor. I know sometimes that doesn't make sense, but give it a try. So engaging through the entire left leg. Our right foot, we're just going to step it back behind us. Trying to keep this leg extended and engaged. So both legs are strong here. And as always, our core is engaged. So lower belly drawing in and up. So in our balance, it helps to find a spot to focus on. I like to look at a spot just kind of right off the tip of my nose on the floor. And maybe we stay right here. If this is challenging your balance today, then you can totally stay right here. You can always use a wall if you're next to a wall. Just don't use your partner. Don't knock them over. But you can stay right here, or if you like, you can start to lift that right foot off the floor. You can lift and lower it, or you can continue to lift, flexing through the foot as you start to hinge at those hips. Again, always have a little micro bend in that standing leg. So anywhere along the way, you can pause, wherever you notice it start to challenge your balance. Continuing to gently gaze at that spot you chose to focus on. Maybe keep your hands at heart center. Think about the connection between those fingertips. Or you can reach those hands back along your sides, maybe out to the sides, maybe out in front. Again, anywhere along the way, just have fun with it for a few breaths. If you fall, you get bonus points. You can come in and out of it as much as you need to. If this left leg starts to cramp up, you can come on out of it, shake it out, and then try it again. But just a few more breaths here. Challenging that balance. So moving through, finding a pause whenever you feel ready. If you are hinging forward all the way, then try to even out those hips. So maybe you drop the right hip down towards the floor a little bit as you lift up through the left. Lots of options, ways to make this more challenging or less challenging, depending on what you feel your body can do today. So 3 more breaths, wherever you are holding. Try and slow down the exhale. And whenever you feel ready to come on out of it, try to slowly step the right foot all the way to the back of your mat. Back to a little lunge. And then we'll lower both hands and the right knee back to the floor. Pausing right here for a moment. And then we're going to walk this left foot over to the right side of your mat. So lowering your knee down to the floor. Try to center those hips over the mat. And then for more intensity, walking your right foot away from the body, or for less intensity, walking it forward. So once this left knee is down on the floor, you want to try to leave it there, adjusting with the back leg to make this stretch more or less intense. When you find your spot, you can always stay lifted on those hands. Try and keep those hips centered and even over the mat. So sometimes we tend to sit over onto that left hip. If you find that happening, just try to come back to center, evening out those hips. Now you can stay right here with those hands lifted, or you can slowly lower down onto the forearms, maybe even the forehead. If you're doing this at home and you have a pillow or a block, you can always bring that underneath the left hip, or even forward and rest your upper body on that pillow or block. So as we pause here, it's a deep hip opener. So just try to pay attention to maybe where the mind tends to go. Try to notice what sensation you might feel in the body. You might feel a stretch or an opening in that outer left hip, maybe even the right hip flexor, or maybe somewhere else. Try and keep your awareness and your breath centered on those areas. We'll just take about 5 breaths here. Right, bring awareness back to your breath. And then on the next inhale, maybe lifting back up onto those hands. Palms on the mat, hands about shoulder width apart. And then tucking your right toes underneath, lifting your knee, lifting both hips. So you can step all the way back. Maybe you lift that left leg. You can move the knee around a few times, or you can just lower that foot to the floor. Just coming back to your downward dog when you feel ready. And then turning your gaze forward, stepping, or you can hop your feet to the front of your mat. Finding a deep bend in those knees, grounding down into those big toes. Slowly making your way back up to standing. Let's bring those arms with us. And exhale, side out through the mouth. Okay, ready for the opposite side? So go ahead and bring those hands back to your heart center. Shifting all of your weight into the right leg. Grounding down into each right toe, into the right heel, but lifting the arch of the foot up away from the floor. Engaging through your core, standing up nice and tall. When you feel ready, maybe you take a little step back with that left foot. And you can stay right here and just focus on reaching back through the heel and up through the crown of the head. If you'd like, you can start to lift those left toes off the floor. And maybe you just pause right here and focus on lifting and lowering the toes. Or you can start to hinge at those hips. Begin to reach those toes towards the floor, little bend in that right knee. Finding your balancing warrior. It might be a little different on this side than it was on the other side. Might be easier, harder. Totally natural, normal to have one side a little stronger than the other. Try to just notice how you are breathing as you balance here. And then feel free to explore, play around. You can move those arms. You can lift and lower a few times. Or you can just stay and hold as long as you can. Continuing to breathe. If that leg is a little wobbly or shaky, -2. Totally normal. You're strengthening those muscles. Try to keep the core engaged. If that left leg's lifted, maybe drop that left hip a little closer towards the floor. 3 more breaths, you got it. And when you're ready to slowly come on out of it, try to step that left foot all the way to the back. Lifting up tall into that lunge, and then we'll lower both knees down, both hands to the floor. And then we'll walk that right foot over to the left side of the mat, slowly lowering your right knee down, adjusting with that left leg. Again, for more intensity, you walk the left leg back. For less intensity, you walk it forward. So trying to center those hips over the floor, keeping them even with one another. Maybe we just inhale and lift through the crown of the head and pause right here. Or you can lower down to the elbows, to the forearms, to the forehead. And you can always use a block or a pillow, bringing it underneath that right hip or out in front of you. Try to relax and soften through those shoulders. Maybe you drop the chin a little closer to the chest. Beginning to find your breath. Maybe you come back to that 3-part breath. Again, in through the nose, into the chest, into the belly. Or maybe you just focus on any kind of sensation you might feel in the body here. Always giving yourself permission to make any adjustments or to come on out of it altogether if needed. Just taking one more full breath here, trying to bring awareness back to the breath. And then on the inhale, using your arms, using your hands to lift the upper body back up. Try tucking the left toes underneath, lifting the knee, lifting those hips, and stepping this right foot back. Maybe lift the right leg up as well, or you can just lower it down to the floor, or you can circle out the hip. Whatever feels best for you. Making your way back to that downward dog, and then we'll bring both knees all the way towards the floor. Let's bring those knees maybe a little wider apart than last time. Big toes together, and one last time finding your child's pose. Okay, on that inhale, walking the hands back up. Coming all the way back up onto those knees. Let's bring those hands behind the body once again, fingers pointing in. And as we breathe in, lifting the heart up towards the ceiling, rolling the shoulders back and down, maybe a little bend in those elbows. And even though you're leaning back, try to continue to lift up nice and tall. Just a little upper back bend. And then exhaling back to center. Okay, go ahead and bring those feet around to the front so you have a seat on your mat. Those legs extended out in front of you. And let's keep our right leg extended. We're going to bring our left ankle right above the right knee. Left ankle over the right knee. Yep. Now flexing through that right foot. So the toes reaching up towards the ceiling. This knee just relaxing towards the floor as much as possible. It's okay if it's up here or anywhere along the way. We're going to sit up nice and tall. As you breathe in, we lift tall through the crown of the head. And on the breath out, try just hinging at the hips. So reaching your heart towards the foot. Pausing whenever you start to feel maybe a stretch through the back of that front leg. You can always have your hands on the floor for support. They can be behind the body, or you can walk them out in front. We're just going to take 3 breaths. With each inhale, try to lift. Find a little length through the spine, and then each exhale, fold in over that leg. Inhale as you lift through the heart, just a tiny motion. Exhale as you fold. And just once more like that. Inhale, finding space. And exhale as you fold. The next breath in, we'll walk those hands up. We'll just bring this left foot to the floor on the outside of that front leg. Right arm can wrap around the knee. And then inhale, we reach left arm all the way up and then back behind the body until the hand finds the floor behind you. As you breathe in, lifting through the crown of the head. On the breath out, finding a twist, looking over that back shoulder. And then slowly making your way back to center. And as we uncross those legs, let's bring the soles of the feet together. Bringing those feet in close to the body. So hands can be on those feet. Maybe your thumbs by the arches of the feet, and slowly just try to open the feet like you're opening a book. The knees can just be out to the sides. And then as we breathe in, finding your tall spine, lifting up tall, and on the breath out, just hinging at the hips. Again, trying to stay long through the spine, so not rounding into it, but just exhale and reach. Just hinging at the hips until you can't fold any further. And then you can soften through the shoulders, the head, and the neck. Finding a few breaths here. And try to bring awareness to what you feel in the body. You might feel a little stretch along the inner legs, maybe something through the back, whatever it might be. And as you come back to the breath, on the next inhale, slowly rolling all the way back up, extending the legs out in front of you. And then moving on to the opposite side, bring your right ankle above the left knee. So allow the knee to open out to the side as much as it can. And we'll inhale up nice and tall, flexing through this left foot, so toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Then on the exhale, again, hinging at the hips, reaching the forehead, the heart, towards your front foot. You can always have those hands behind the body to gently help support the torso, or you can walk them forward, maybe hands are on the leg. Finding those 3 breaths. Finding that tiny movement if you would like. With each inhale, you find a little bit of space, a little bit of length. And then each exhale, folding over that leg. On the next breath in, slowly walking those hands up and just crossing that foot over the leg. So bringing right foot to the floor, knee pointing up. We'll wrap left arm around the knee, inhaling, right arm lifts up, all the way back behind you until it finds the floor behind the body. Each breath in here, we sit up nice and tall, and each breath out, maybe you can twist. Turning that gaze over your back shoulder. And then as you're ready, slowly making your way back to center. Okay, let's bring both feet to the floor, scooting to the front of your mat. We'll bring those hands behind those knees and just gently roll yourself all the way down onto your back And once you get there, feel free to lower those feet to the mat. Walking those feet out a little closer to the edges of your mat, so a little bit wider. Just pausing here for a moment, allowing that lower back to relax towards the mat. And then maybe on the next exhale, just letting both knees come over to the left side. Inhaling them back up. Exhaling to the right side. And back up. And just slowly moving those knees side to side. Back and forth. Again, just like our breath, trying to notice things that are always there, but we don't usually notice. So maybe as you move those knees, you might feel the edges of your feet as they connect with the floor. Maybe the sides of your hips. Just once more in each direction. And then as those knees come back to center, let's draw those knees in close to the body, bringing the hands to the front of those knees. And then just find a few circles. Using the hands to move those knees around. And try going the opposite direction a few times with your circles. And then as we bring the knees back through center, guiding both knees over to your left side. So rolling all the way onto the left side of the body and the left hip. The right arm can reach out to the right side. And then maybe bring left hand to the belly. Turning your gaze to the right, if that's okay on your neck. And as we pause here for a few breaths, just try to feel that breath moving into the belly. See if you can feel any movement underneath that hand. So one more full breath here. And then using the strength of your core to guide those knees back up through center and over to the right side. Just bringing those knees over to the right, rolling onto the right hip, the right side of the body. And then maybe left arm reaches out to the side. Right hand can come to the belly. Feel free to turn your gaze to the left as well. And you're always welcome to close the eyes or just find a gentle gaze at one spot. Each breath out here, trying to relax just one part of the body. Maybe it's the shoulder blades, relaxing a little closer to the floor. Maybe you just relax through the gaze, the muscles in the face and the jaw. Finding one more full breath here. And using that core to bring the knees back up to center, bringing both feet flat to the floor. Just pausing here, allowing that lower back once again to relax. And for these last couple of minutes for your Shavasana, which means final relaxation, you're welcome to stay right here as you are with the feet on the floor. Maybe bring those arms along your sides. Or you can straighten out those legs on the floor. Really whatever is most comfortable for you. So feel free to make any adjustments to make yourself more comfortable. Sometimes you can walk those shoulder blades together, a little closer together underneath the body. Hands can be along your sides with palms facing up to allow the shoulders to open, or they can be on your belly or even up overhead. Again, completely up to you what feels comfortable here. And as you find some stillness, you're always welcome to close your eyes. Again, if you'd rather keep them open, just finding a gentle gaze up at the ceiling. But we're just going to do a brief body awareness scan. So as we move into that, just pause in for a moment and notice, once again, the space that you're in, the sounds that you hear, the air that you feel, maybe even the mat underneath you. Noticing where your body is connected with the mat. And try bringing awareness to the right thumb and the right fingers. Just kind of notice where they are, if they're touching anything, how they feel. Moving awareness up into the right hand, the right wrist, the right forearm and elbow, the right upper arm and right shoulder. Moving awareness down into the right ribs, the right hip, your right upper leg, the right knee, your right shin and calf, right ankle, the right foot, and each of those right toes. Just breathe in gently into the entire right side of the body as it softens and relaxes. And then moving awareness over into the left thumb, the left fingers. And without moving them, just notice where they are, how they feel. The left palm, the left wrist, left forearm and left elbow. Noticing the left upper arm and your left shoulder. Moving awareness down to the left ribs, the left hip, the left upper leg and knee, your left shin, left calf, the left ankle, your left foot, and each of those left toes. Just breathing gently into the entire left side of the body. It softens and relaxes. And then turning your awareness to the very top of the head. Maybe moving down into the forehead, the area around your eyes, your nose, your cheeks. Softening through the jaw. Down into the throat, collarbones, and the area in the chest where your heart resides. Breathing gently into the head, the face, the neck, and the heart as they soften and relax. Bring awareness back to the breath. Making it a little bit deeper, filling the entire body with fresh breath, fresh air. And as you exhale, sending out with the breath, tension, tightness, anything that doesn't serve you. Just taking 2 more breaths like that. And then as you are ready to bring some movement back into the body, maybe you start by moving the fingers and the toes. And roll out the wrists and the ankles. And feel free to reach those arms up overhead and just take a big stretch from fingertip to toe. And drawing those knees back into the chest. Maybe you wrap the arms around your legs. Just thanking yourself for taking this time for you. And when you feel ready, rolling over onto one side and slowly helping yourself back up to a seat. And we'll just take 2 more breaths together here as we finish up. So as you find your seat, finding a tall spine, maybe finishing your next exhale. And on the next breath in, taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And then a nice cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Thanks for practicing with me today. Thanks for showing up. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.